Michael here. Our dear friend Christopher joins us as our first live guest. Listen in as we share and discuss Motörhead and The Verve, two very different yet very influential bands in Christopher's musical journey. Welcome to I Got a Song.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to another episode of I Got a Song. You know what? This is our first episode to do where we actually have a name. And you know, we had a golden opportunity in episode 9 with I Got a Name. But now, I Got a Song.
I like I Got a Song. It really ties the pod together.
Well, we're not going to discuss it anymore. It's decided, okay?
We are the deciders.
We have a special guest today. His name is Christopher Covnet. Say hello, Christopher.
Hello.
Man, we sure are excited to have a guest on today. It's our first time, and we've never done this before, and we're not professional interviewers or professional music critics of any sort.
Or even really professional people in general.
Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. One thing we are professionals about is we are experts about our own opinions.
That's 100% true. And mine are always right.
Yes.
Michael, do you have a question for us to get us started today?
Let's see. Chris is a very dear and old friend of ours, and as wide and varied as Clay and I's musical tastes are, Chris is next level. Chris loves and just has such a wide breadth of appreciation for all different levels and genres and of music. And
give me an example.
Chris,
give me an example
Chris,
of that. What you mean, Michael? Just to fill the people in. I know exactly what you mean, and I share the sentiment. Because we're always sharing music,
we're always sharing music back and forth with each other, and
I tend to go buck wild.
Oh well,
I love that.
I do too. And we all gravitate towards rock, and we all love rock, all various forms of rock, and Chris will drop a funk record or
a modern reggae joint.
Yeah, or like a modern reggae joint or a neo soul joint, and I love all of these genres too, but a lot of times they don't cross my mind immediately to be like, hey man, check this song out. And so and Chris kind of keeps us on our toes with music that doesn't jump right out at us right away. So I appreciate that, Chris. I appreciate that. Truly,
he holds our hand and guides us outside of our comfort zone. And
are you sure it's holding your hand, or am I throwing y'all into the deep end?
Well, he kind of grabs us by the wrist and yanks a little bit sometimes.
Yes.
And so as many songs as we send each other, we can't always listen to everything that we send, and so sometimes I'll send something and they don't get to listen to it, or Chris will send something and maybe I don't get a chance. And what's unfortunate is if I get work, I'm at work busy and they start going back and forth and they're sending songs and they're like, oh man, this is great. No, you need to listen to this one, but I'm at work and I can't listen. I'm like, oh man, I bet they're listening to some really great stuff. But I try to get back into it and go back throughout the day and listen whenever I can. And man, it's always enlightening.
It's always a great time, and we've got a pretty special episode going here today. This is our first guest, Chris, and once again, thank you for jumping on this thing with us. But
hey, thank y'all for having me.
We have tasked Christopher, with picking a song to share with the two of us, and also Clay and I have put our heads together to come up with a song to share with you, and so it's going to be kind of a double header type of episode. If you're
this should be exciting. I cannot wait.
Oh yeah, it's going to be. So Clay, how should we do it? Should we present to Chris first, or should Chris, being the esteemed guest of honor, present to us first?
Chris, do you have a preference?
No, honestly I don't.
Okay, well, here's what I'm going to do. I am going to send you the song that we have picked for you. Okay. So let me go ahead and get that going. Mikey, if you could vamp for a second.
It'll be a song that you know for sure. Clay and I have gone over this whole weekend picking out songs, throwing songs back and forth, trying to find something that all of us would know, but that we knew you would appreciate. So hopefully
I just
work.
hope that y'all didn't choose the song that I'm going to share.
Wouldn't that be amazing?
We would be in a pickle if that was the case.
We would have to go out and buy a lottery ticket if that were the case.
Now, Chris,
man,
when you
what
sing
a
the song,
great song.
Okay, now Chris, you get to lead us in. You get to say, "All right, now here's what we have," and you lead us into the song.
Oh, this is a really good choice. A really good choice. All right, so the song is "Slide Away" by The Verve off their self-titled debut album. Not self-titled; it's actually "A Storm in Heaven."
There you go.
Oh man, it's been one of those days.
All right, brother.
This is a great song. This was actually the song that got me into wanting to play and learn the guitar. Believe it or not.
Oh, sweet. Very cool.
That's
very
beautiful.
Cool.
Now we're going to go ahead
I do know how to play some of it, so that is kind of awesome.
Even better. We're going to get more into that in just a sec. But first, here is Slide Away by The Verve. At this time, for maximum effect, we recommend you go listen to the song in question before continuing with the episode. All right, that was Slide Away by The Verve with our special guest, Chris Covnet. Chris, how do you feel about that song, my brother?
What a great song. What a great song.
Really is. Really is.
Never get tired of listening to it.
What a banger.
Well, Chris, you've mentioned it a little bit before. You're kind of alluding to it a little bit while we were listening to the song. Tell us kind of your trajectory with The Verve in general, and kind of lead us into the song a bit.
So, man, I got into them in high school when Bittersweet Symphony came out.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went back and went through their earlier catalog and discovered this song and album, and it's just great. I mean, the whole album is not very good, but the songs on that album that are good are really good.
Now, I wonder, Chris, tell me where you were, if you can remember when you first heard The Verve. I'll tell you where I was. I was with Chris Covnet, Loving Life.
That sounds about right. That's probably right.
Yeah,
that's
where I was. Because I was like you.
When I
first
heard
song.
them.
Yeah, I'd heard the big song like you, and then I was hanging out with you, and we were listening to them, and you were like, and I was like, this is that band, right, with that song. You're like, yeah, but listen to this.
Yeah, I mean that's Bittersweet Symphony is a great song, but they have so much other great stuff.
Agreed.
And it's just they're so stylistically, like their earlier stuff is just so much more shoegazy rock, and then their later stuff is more middle-aged man with an acoustic guitar.
Right. Well, I don't remember exactly where and when I was when I got turned on to The Verve, but like you guys said, it was through Bittersweet Symphony, and then through you, Chris, is kind of where I discovered some more of their stuff. But I do remember when I bought Richard Ashcroft's solo album. It was at a university bookstore of all places, but it was based off of the strength of your recommendation for it, and I still have that CD somewhere where all the rest of my CDs are at. But yeah, it was good stuff, and I never really got turned on to this song necessarily until last year when we all started kind of playing guitar again. And
I don't think I was listening to them with you, Chris, like in high school though. I think it was later.
No, that sounds right. Like this came out, Bittersweet Symphony came out when we were end of junior year,
like
start of senior year.
97.
87. And then I don't think I heard Storm in Heaven until, man, early 20s.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Storm in Heaven and Northern Soul were two that you hooked me up with that I have I got burned copies of.
I can still remember where I bought the copy I bought of A Northern Soul. It was at the Hastings in Longview.
That's a good find.
So,
I want to say
we went to
I want to say that was Vernon Yard.
Photius's apartment later that night.
Oh wow, yeah,
that's so cool.
Yeah, I just have good memories associated with that night.
I think they were. Were they on a Vernon Yard? If they were a Vernon Yard, and you have those CDs also out of print.
Yes. Yes, they were on Vernon Yard, and I think both of my copies, all the CDs I have of their like early stuff is the Vernon Yard.
That's
discs.
Awesome.
So, Chris, you mentioned that this song made you want to play guitar. So, like, was it just like the first time you heard it? It's like, I need to know that hook, and it was kind of what started you on your journey to wanting to learn guitar.
Man, I just thought it was just the most amazing sound I had ever heard in my life. Like, what is this dude doing with a guitar, an amp, and whatever pedals he's using to coax these heavenly sounds that I am hearing? And I need to get on this and do this and steal all my ideas from Nick McCabe, their guitarist.
Nice.
I'll also say this, like, Urban Hymns, the Bittersweet Symphony album is lyrically very amazing. A Storm in Heaven is lyrically garbage.
That's funny. I was hoping you'd get to that because Clay and I have had discussions on previous episodes about lyrics and like the importance of and the impact of and that sort of thing. And so, like, you know, we both very much think, and I believe it's your feeling as well, that lyrics usually serve the music, not necessarily music serving the lyrics. Or we tend to like songs where lyrics are just another instrument.
There's some I would agree. There are some songs where, like, the lyrics are awesome. I dig it. I love how they fit the music. Love how they fit the theme of the song. And there's other stuff like this, like Slide Away. I mean, I know what the dude said. I know what Richard Ashcroft says. It's gibberish, but the way he sings it and his voice and the tone of his voice fits the music.
Yes.
If that makes sense.
Now, if I may, one little part. Now it says, I was thinking maybe we could go outside, let the night sky cool your foolish pride. Don't you feel alive? These are our times and our highs. Come on.
That's a pretty good line.
It's pretty good.
That's a good
I don't
line.
know if you noticed this. I don't know if you knew this, Chris, but I just happened to be looking at the lyrics. And it says that one of the songwriters on this particular song is one Noel Gallagher. I did not know that.
Whoa.
Yes. They actually, I want to say, Cast No Shadow on What's the Story Morning Glory was actually written about Richard Ashcroft. Because the Gallaghers and members of the Verve were really good friends, I believe.
I remember reading that at some point as well. Yeah, and I thought that was really neat.
It's interesting how bands like that converge. I did not know that he was a songwriter on that. That's cool. That's very cool.
Interesting, yeah.
And they also, there's like 6 versions of that song that I've heard, and he changes the lyrics to just about every version.
But that is
usually because he was not sober.
Oh dear. Would it just be like variations, or would he just start kind of ad-libbing his way through the song?
He'd kind of like do scatting.
Oh my.
No, not really. He would just, I guess, whatever words came to him that night, whatever mood he was in, whatever substances he was on.
Right.
Just was,
that's something that Adam Duritz is famous for doing. And it's endlessly frustrating for fans who want to sing along, because whenever the singer is kind of doing his singing it his own way on that day, it makes it a little bit more frustrating. But I love it because it's just, you can tell they're more into the song and they're more present in the song in the moment than than trying to, do word for word,
trying to sound exactly like the album,
like the record. Yeah.
Like as long as they're not pulling a Lauryn Hill and starting a show 2 hours late, if at all.
Oof.
I'm good. I'm good with whatever the band wants to do.
Shout out Lauryn Hill and the Fugees. Come on the pod, babe.
Well, Chris,
I'm glad a month later.
I'm glad you like this song.
Well,
y'all did good. That's a great song. Great song.
Would you say that "Slide Away" is your favorite song by The Verve, or The Verve? Sorry, or what would you say is your favorite, and why or why not this one?
Okay, my favorite. It is in the top 3 of my favorite The Verve songs, but my favorite version of that song is the live version off the Voyager 1 live EP, which is really hard to find. But that EP also has my favorite song by them, which is South Pacific.
You've
also the live
South
version
Pacific before. Yes.
Yeah, the live version is just incredible. I mean, it's the most amazing song I think I've ever heard in my life.
Okay, I need to go back and revisit that because I'm sure I don't know if you've shared it or you just mentioned it before, and I have heard it, but I've got to go revisit it because I've come back since you shared "Slide Away" with us. Like I said, I want to say maybe last year sometime. It's like I've come back to it, and it's now on a couple of my different, rock or rock adjacent playlists, and it's a great track. But now I need to go and dig up South Pacific again.
So there is a album version of that on the Storm in Heaven Deluxe Edition, I think, but you will have to YouTube the live version.
Okay. I can do that.
We're gonna put these. We're gonna put these in the notes because one of the things we like to do is put some further listening in there, recommended by you this time. So.
Oh man, I can do that.
Man, well, I feel like it's Christmas morning, and that we gave you your gift, but now we want to take from you. And we want to be selfish and receive.
It is Christopher's turn to present to us. And,
okay.
So if you want to shoot us a link to the song, Clay and I'll.
Let me set this up a little bit first. So.
Oh, I can't wait.
I think this year we've shared a ton of music with each other, and I feel like we've all gotten into different things that maybe we would not have listened to a few years ago. Or when we were younger, like bands that you knew of, but you're like, they have 1 or 2 songs, they're great, not really my cup of tea. So
I feel like the gear in Clay's mind is already turning. He's already trying to figure out what it's going to be.
I have gone. There is a lot of stuff I have listened to this year that I have gotten into that my high school self or early 20s self would look at me now and laugh and say, "You fool."
Me too, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yep.
You fool. So let me. It took me a while to figure out what song I wanted to share with y'all, but this is one I had been listening to a lot this year, and this is one that actually got me into a band that I probably never would have given much thought to.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to text this to the group chat.
Do it.
All right. When we see it, Michael, you want to lead us?
Yeah. I'll roll with it when I'll roll.
All right.
Into
I am hitting send now.
Oh boy.
Okay.
I haven't seen anything yet. It hadn't come through yet.
That Nigerian internet.
Nice. Yes. There it is.
Oh boy.
My mind was heading.
What do we got?
we got One Track Mind by Motörhead. I love it.
Now, Chris has been sending Motörhead like there's no tomorrow, especially first thing in the morning when he's like in the gym or going to the gym.
Man.
It's Motörhead,
yeah.
Motörhead.
Hey, and
we love Motörhead.
I have seen the light on Motörhead and Lemmy.
Okay, Chris, before we break to listen to the song, I just want you to tell everybody listening, we all just had our like Spotify Wrapped and Apple Music Wrapped or whatever Apple Music's version of that is. Tell everyone how many times you listened to the album by Motörhead.
Oh man, it was a lot. Hold on, I've got to.
I think it was like 115 times or something like that.
It was a lot. Okay, so where is this stupid thing?
There was a lot of Motörhead.
Yeah, we've gotten a big dose of Motörhead.
All right, hold on, I'm going.
I did pick a Motörhead song that I thought about picking for this episode, which is the one. "Love Me Like a Reptile."
Yes. I love that song. What a great song!
I know
it's so fantastic. Dumb.
It is ridiculous.
Okay. I listen to Motörhead.
I don't care. I love it.
I listened to Motörhead 935 minutes this year, and I would honestly, that does not start until probably August.
Right? Yeah.
I was going to say,
that was just kind of recent. Yeah, that was just kind of recent.
Oh, yeah, man. I have gone down the Motörhead rabbit hole.
All right, well, let's talk more about it after we listen to the song. Michael, you going to take us in for that?
Yes, sir. So we're listening to the 40th anniversary master of One Track Mind by Motörhead. Let's go. At this point in the episode, Clay and Michael listen to the song and then come back to discuss it. For the best experience, we recommend that you do the same on your music platform of choice. Well, that was a One Track Mind by Motörhead, and man, what a song, dude! What a band!
They truly lived the rock and roll lifestyle. They were all degenerates.
I feel like I just paid my bar tab at the local biker bar, and I'm just like staggering out into the cold night.
And this song is like your the bar bidding you adieu. This song is on the speakers as you stumble out into the world.
Yeah, I'm like, guys, I don't want to leave, but I gotta go home.
I've been drinking again.
Jeez. Yep. Well, Chris, you already.
Glad y'all did that. I'm glad y'all enjoyed that song.
Man, you did a great job. I love Motörhead.
You know, I have not dug into Motörhead the way you guys have, but
I wouldn't say I've dug into him. Chris is way far into him more than I am. I know the Ace of Spades album,
of course. Yeah,
just I mean, that whole album I know, and it's wonderful. But I do not know much beyond that, except for what I've heard from our illustrious guest today.
This is that was the song that made Motörhead click for me.
I get that. Yeah.
Like that was the song that opened up the rest of their catalog.
What suddenly got you onto Motörhead? Like, we've shared so much music over the last 2 years, and it just seemed like it was kind of this out of no. I mean, you'd always had an appreciation for Motörhead, it seems like, but like out of nowhere, you were like, dudes, Motörhead, and it was like every other day, it was like Motörhead, and.
I started listening to a lot of, y'all know, I started listening to a lot of thrash metal, like Anthrax, Slayer, and then, Motörhead influenced all them. So I listened to Ace of Spades one day. I was like, surely they've got to have stuff that's as good as this or better.
Mm-hmm.
And I discovered this album. I read about it in some article. It's like their most... It's considered not one of their high. It's considered a great album now, but at the time when it came out, it was actually considered a flop for them.
Interesting. Okay. Now, was this? This is the 40th anniversary remaster, so we're talking what 83?
83.
I guess when this album came out. Now, I don't know the timeline for Motörhead. How does that figure with like Ace of Spades and all that?
Ace of Spades was 80. I think this is their 6th album.
Interesting. Okay.
Which they came out in the mid 70s. Their first 2 albums I cannot listen to them. They're intense. They're a little too much for me. But
wait, what do you mean? Expand a little bit. What do you mean too much?
Just the recording quality is really piss poor. Like it's just they're not recorded well and they're just raw. And coming from listening to stuff like One Track Mind, Ace of Spades, it just didn't really click with me.
Gotcha. Now while we were listening to the song, you were saying you mentioned I think a couple of different times you were kind of drawn to the drums in the song. Is there any particular part of Motörhead that you're really like overall drawn to, or is it just kind of the whole package? But with this song in particular, the drums are just well done.
Man, it's the whole package, but their rhythm section is just fantastic. I mean, Lemmy. What can you say about Lemmy? He's Lemmy.
Oh yeah. And then they're a 3-piece, aren't they?
They are. And
that's impressive.
For a 3-piece, they have a very full sound.
Wow, I did not know that. I thought for sure they were like 4
me and
or
Michael
5.
I know, well, Chris also, we love a 3-piece, man. When you can,
when
3 people are all just giving it everything and they sound like 5, you know, when they can pull it off, like Rush, you know, Rush in Circles, Motörhead, you know, I mean, when they can pull that off, man, it's amazing. And I love it. It's really impressive.
No doubt.
It's, they're for a 3-piece. They are probably the loudest 3-piece I've ever heard.
Well, Dinosaur Jr., that's another amazing 3-piece.
Dinosaur Jr., yeah.
They are great. And Jay Mascis has a very full, I mean, he just a very full guitar sound, fills out the rest of the band.
Yeah, that's blowing my mind. I literally had no idea that they were a 3-piece, so that's very cool.
Yeah, they man, there's something else. They lived like they rocked hard, very hard.
Now, I didn't realize that you said that they were cited as inspiration for, or influence rather, for thrash bands. I never really put that together before, but I could totally see that now.
So Lars Ulrich of Metallica actually ran the Motörhead fan club for a while.
That's right.
In the early 80s.
I did know that, yeah. Wow, yeah. Very cool.
And the guitarist on the album that One Track Mind came from was a former Thin Lizzy guitarist.
No kidding. See, I was going to ask you if you could tell me a little bit more about if you knew anything about the guitarist, because he sounds pretty amazing and he sounds like really upper level. But I'm like, I don't know if I know the name of the Motörhead guitar player.
Only played on this one album. Their original guitarist had quit halfway through the tour, I think for being a raging alcoholic, which is, man, that's ruined many a rock star. And they got Brian Robertson of Thin Lizzy to fill in, and then they did this album. And then the band broke up.
I cannot wait to listen to this album. I love Thin Lizzy.
I do too. Thin Lizzy's a good group. They're a good group.
Okay, Another Perfect Day. That's the album. Okay, get your damn hands up. I'm gonna do it.
That's the anthem.
That is in fact the anthem.
Yes. Now, if you don't mind.
Well, man, what a treat! What a treat, man! Thanks for sharing that song. That was that hit a good vibe. It really did, especially coming off of the Verve.
That's the great thing about this show is you never know, man.
Exactly.
We try to keep it, and we had no idea what you were gonna have, and it's just like that's just so fun to do it that way.
All right, Chris, I'm gonna put you on the spot one more time here. Can you give us maybe 2 other Motörhead songs that are your favorites that you could kind of recommend along with this one?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Hold on a second. So, also off this album, the first song, Back at the Funny Farm.
Okay.
Great song. Great. And then the third would be off their album Iron Fist. And I have to say the song would be called Go to Hell.
Oh, goodness.
I listened to that song this morning, I believe, listening to some Motörhead
What?
stuff, and it was dope.
It's a great song.
It is. It really
man.
is.
Were you like subconsciously prepping yourself for this?
Yeah, I hadn't completely decided. Yeah, I hadn't completely decided what I wanted. What? Because I know you and I had talked about some, but we hadn't decided on the Verve yet. So
Correct,
I was
yeah,
exploring some Motörhead stuff. Wow.
Good on you, man.
It's just great. Motörhead will change your life.
It certainly changed yours. Yeah, I think it was like maybe the next week after you told us you started really digging into the catalog.
Man.
Dude, they changed my life.
They really did.
Well, you bought a couple of T-shirts, cool. I think.
I did.
Fantastic.
That's what we do when we get excited about a new band. Is we get online and we buy T-shirts, we buy merch. And we send them to our friends. And
hey, I got to put a little money in the band's pocket, you know.
Amen.
I got to give them a little walking around money.
I mean, living a rock and roll lifestyle, it's not free, you know. You have bills to pay.
Drugs and alcohol are not free.
Part of the reason we do this podcast anyway is I feel like each one of these episodes is a tribute to these bands and these artists that bless us with these songs, you know, because each one of these songs we want to present to each other because like, hey, this song blessed me, and I want to give some of this to you, and those artists, you know, we want to thank those.
Or in the case of episode 10, this song has not blessed me. Please tell me why it blesses you.
Is that
no way? No, because it has not released. So please.
Okay.
Yeah, we gotta. Yeah.
So I'm going to leave you with a tour anecdote about the drummer of Motörhead.
Oh, please do.
Yes.
So
story time with Chris Covnet.
Okay. The drummer's name is Phil Filthy Animal Taylor.
I love it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So this is how the drummer got into the band. Lemmy has said that this one dude was not working out, and Taylor had a car and could give us a lift back to the studio. Taylor, in turn, introduced Lemmy to their first guitarist, having worked with him while painting a houseboat.
So bizarre.
The drummer broke his hand punching a man outside of his house one time right before tour, and he continued to drum on the tour by using gaffer tape to tape the drumstick to his hand until it had healed.
Oh my heavens!
Wow.
That's incredible.
That is some real rock and roll.
That is next level rock and roll.
Taping a drumstick to your hand so you can tour.
Man,
what a trooper.
They were just a different breed of musician back then.
Yeah, well, I wonder how many bands would just like call off the tour for something like that these days.
Motörhead may have had a love affair with amphetamines.
There's some hard working rock and rollers.
What makes you say that?
Just about every interview with Lemmy.
Oh, well, there you go.
Michael, you want to wrap it up for us? Chris,
absolutely.
Thanks so much for coming, man.
Chris, thank y'all for having me. We'll have to do this again.
For coming on. Oh, man, absolutely. This has been a blast. Man.
I always love talking music with you, too.
Thank you for being such a great guest, for being such a good sport coming on with us, man. This is truly a turning point in the pod here.
Well, I mean, I don't know if I would go that far, but I appreciate you saying that.
Well, Chris, man, we love you, and thanks again. And, everyone out there, let us know what you think.
All right. Until next time, everybody, say your prayers, take your vitamins, and, bless somebody. Share some music. Share some rock and roll with somebody, and share a smile. Okay? Treat others well. Talk to you later.
Have a good time all of the time.
All the time.
Amen.
That's right.
See ya. Bye.
See ya.
Hey, we really appreciate you listening to the show today. If you enjoyed it, feel free to listen to the rest of our catalog and share it with your friends. Go ahead and follow us. And you can find me on Instagram at Clay Dang Collins. Thanks a lot. We'll see you on the next one.